Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Legacy Speaks. I just want to say thank you so much for rocking with me for the Mind Your Business series. For those of you who are just kind of jumping in, this series gives us a chance to sit down with entrepreneurs, young professionals, and thought leaders to talk about what fuels their mind for success and how they maintain their mental health within their respective industries. I'm really excited for this particular collab because she is truly a glam boss. Lillie Mae is an author, motivational speaker, and PR strategist, and her brand GLAMBITIOUS has been inspiring women all over the world. So let me get out of the way and let you see for yourself. Here's Mind Your Business with Lillie Mae and the GLAMBITIOUS brand. So thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Great, awesome. And so pretty much I just wanted to talk about your mindset for success because I was first introduced to you back in 2015 when I first moved here. And you had literally just launched the GLAMBITIOUS brand and your whole book. And so can you talk about GLAMBITIOUS, because a lot of people are like, well, what the heck is that?
Sure. So GLAMBITIOUS is where glamour and ambition collide. You know, I think that most women love glamour, and then we are all inherently ambitious and have goals and dreams. So I infused that into a platform for women to encourage them to be entrepreneurs and just live their best life overall. So our website, glamboss.org, has all types of resources for women, including webinars, books, magazine cover opportunities, business services, memberships. We host events around the country. Like Sierra said, we have one coming up at Essence Fest, and we're going to Paris. And so the entire movement is just about connecting women, uplifting women, and just giving them opportunities and resources to help them live their best lives.
Help them live their best life. Like, I think that's just been the mantra for the past couple of years. Like, everybody's been on the roll for living their best life. And so as a CEO of a PR company or as an author and motivational speaker, how have you been able to live your best life from the beginning of your career to now?
Yeah, you know, for me, I just really like to go with my gut. So, you know, I take risks a lot. And so anything that, or any idea that I get, I act on it because I feel like God gave, you know, it's a God-given idea. So that's helped me to really live my best life professionally because I don't, you know, overthink my ideas. I just trust my gut, trust my instinct, and take a chance and go after whatever, you know, it is, or whatever ideas that I have. And it's just, you know, I think sometimes as entrepreneurs or as women, we might second guess ourselves or second guess an idea or feel like an industry is so saturated. And, you know, I just encourage women that if you get an idea, act on it immediately and, you know, see it through. And then if you get another idea, act on it as well. We're all multifaceted beings. And I think once I realized that just because I'm a publicist doesn't mean that I can't speak, doesn't mean that I can't write books, doesn't mean that I can't host events, then it allowed me to expand and really truly be my entire multifaceted self.
And I'm glad that you're able to speak on that, because sometimes we get into a career field and we feel like we have to be dedicated to that specific field for the rest of our lives. And I think that's because, like, our parents probably taught us that, like, okay, I'm going to be a teacher and that's all I want to do. But you have all these other skills, like probably being like a homemaker or a fashion designer or whatever the case may be. And you were able to break outside of that mold. And so can you speak to that and how to encourage other women to do the same thing as well?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, no one is one-dimensional. So I think we have to leave that, you know, old, antiquated idea that you just have to be one thing and that's it. I think God gives us all special gifts and talents, and you're doing yourself and the world a disservice by not sharing it. Like, you can work a 9 to 5 and then sing at night. You can work a 9 to 5 and then dance and, you know, dance around the world. Like, I just really encourage women to not feel, you know, limited or restricted, but to share your gifts because you have those gifts for a reason. And sometimes, you know, if you're interested in fashion, like I have a friend that's interested in fashion and then she's also a chef. I think that's amazing that she fuses fashion and food, you know, because everyone likes to eat, everyone likes to look nice. So, you know, don't feel stifled by that whole antiquated idea of you have to be one thing for the rest of your life and that's it.
Right. And one thing you also brought up is feeling like you're in an industry that's oversaturated, because it seems like everybody is constantly either doing women empowerment or trying to be an entrepreneur, or especially within Metro Atlanta, which is like really crazy. And so I feel like for entrepreneurs, it doesn't matter what other people are doing as long as you're walking in the calling that God has given you. That's all that really matters, because yeah, granted, you guys may be doing the same thing, but you're doing it a little bit more differently. And so like, how have you been able to stand out within all of the aspects, whether it's like PR or women empowerment or just being an author, you know?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question. I speak on this a lot too. Really learning to be my authentic self. That's helped me to stand out in what I do, because, you know, my personality is different from your personality, which is different from the next woman's personality. And sometimes when we stifle aspects of our personality or our character, it takes away the special sauce that makes us unique. And so I fully embrace the childlike zeal and energetic, you know, way that I have. You know, once when I first started business, I felt, oh, I need to tone it down and be very serious so that I could be a respected businesswoman. And it's like, no, you know, God made you silly. I'm silly. I like to crack jokes, you know. I like to listen to trap music. It's like everything, you know, again, being multifaceted. If you play that up, whatever makes you you, that's going to help you stand out in whatever field that you're in. So that's worked for me.
And that's so important, because sometimes we get into a space and we're like, we have to conform, because, you know, it's just like sink or swim. Well, let me see, I'm new in this field, let me see what I can do. And I know for me, that was kind of how I was when I transitioned to Atlanta, because I left, as you guys may know, I left the health industry to try my luck in PR or just the music entertainment industry. And so I'm just like, wow, Atlanta is really popping. and then you go to like these major events and everybody's dressed a certain way, or they have some type of vibe, and it's just like, well, dang, I gotta start acting like this. And so it just seems like, you know, for somebody who is from the Carolinas, you still have like that Southern charm, and you haven't lost that while being here in Atlanta.
I know, somehow, and I've been here 12 years, and I'm still a Southern belle. But I do, again, you know, I feel like we have to be careful not to allow external pressures to change who we are, because again, when God was making you, he made you just the way you are for a reason, so that you can connect to a specific type of person. It's just like in the world of ministry, you have different pastors that cater to different types of people. You have to think about that for yourself, like you're you for a reason, so that you can reach and really, you know, connect with a certain type of person. Everyone doesn't belong in the Lillie Mae tribe, you know. Everyone, you know, some people might think, oh, it's too much energy, which is fine. There's another woman, you know, women empowerment person that may be a little toned down that connects with a certain demographic. And that's the beauty of it, you know, with it being Women's History Month. We're all dynamic, we're all different, and I think we should celebrate that and not feel like I have to be you or you have to be me. But celebrate me, celebrate you.
Exactly. and definitely with the Women's History thing, I can definitely speak to that, because I know as a young professional, I'm just like, I just want the world to know that I was here. Like Beyonce, I just want the world to know that I was here, and I want to be able to make a dent in society, change some things, and just lead. And so how have you been able to do that? Because I know your brand has grown tremendously, especially with GLAMBITIOUS. And so like what are some feedback that you're getting from your fan base? Like what are they saying at these empowerment brunches?
Yeah, you know, I get so much positive feedback, and you know, aside from the events that I've done, I've, you know, been able to connect with women outside of the US, like in Nigeria, and I spoke at a conference that was in Trinidad and Tobago, and you know, so women outside of the country giving me positive feedback, like, oh, that motivational quote you posted was inspirational, or you inspired me to go after my dreams, or you know, I think that you never know who's depending on you to fulfill your purpose. And so when you walk in your purpose, that light is shining on so many other women and souls, which is why it's important to do so. So, you know, I get a ton of, you know, positive Instagram comments and direct messages, and you know, invites to be a part of panels, and all of that just reassures me that I am doing the right thing, you know. And like I said, it's all, you know, taking one step at a time, because sometimes we want to wake up and be Beyonce tomorrow, or wake up and be Oprah tomorrow. And that quote says, you know, Beyonce and Oprah were not built in a day. So, you know, when in times women feel discouraged or like they're not moving fast enough, I just always encourage them to think of where they came from. Celebrate your wins, celebrate what you've achieved thus far, and just keep that momentum going.
And I think with a brand, it's very important to highlight brands that create opportunities for other people. And you have a partnership program with GLAMBITIOUS, and as well as the Power Circle as well. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked about that. So I created a licensing program where we have so many books and webinars that, empower women in different areas of business. So for other women that want to create a store and sell products, they can sell our products and keep all of the profit. So it's a really easy way to become an entrepreneur overnight. If you're a mother and your schedule is full, we'll redesign these products, put your photos and contact information, you upload it to your site, and it begins to make money on its own. So that was why I created that opportunity, the licensing, so that women can have things to sell and profit from. And then with our memberships, we include again a number of resources and opportunities for women. So we have a mogul membership that includes speaking at our events. It includes being on our magazine cover, getting your own product license to sell, a strategy session with me every month so I can give you ideas on how to expand your brand. So we just pack in all these goodies in that membership to help women. And for anyone watching, just definitely visit GlamBoss.org to learn more about the licensing and the membership opportunity.
And also, with creating history, you have some tests and trials. Obviously, whether it's an entrepreneur or a young professional, what are some tests and trials that kind of help mold you into the woman that you are today?
Yeah, well, very early on, I was born into an underserved community in North Carolina, very small town, Winston-Salem, extremely underserved. And so just having the mindset that, now is not my forever has always helped push me forward. Because like you said, there's so many ups and downs just in life, in business, that we're going to have moments where we don't feel 100%. And I think it's important that women realize now is not my forever. In any time when you're feeling down or not feeling great or feeling like you should be further along, now is not your forever. And just having that mindset allows me to keep pushing forward, and it allowed me to, get out of that underserved community and then move to the bright magic city of Atlanta and thrive.
That cracks me up. And one thing that I've learned or that I've watched being in this city is sometimes it's not always, I guess, the most positive atmosphere, but I've seen you be able to create those relationships with other women and break the stereotype that we can't work together. And so how have you been able to maintain a positive attitude when working with fellow entrepreneurs and fellow professionals, and how have you been able to develop and cultivate those relationships? Because it's one thing to give a business card and be like, hey, I want to work with you, but you've been able to maintain long-standing relationships successfully.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I try to stick by is doing something for someone before I ask for something. And I think in Atlanta or other big cities like New York, Miami, where there's so many ambitious people, it can often feel like an opportunistic environment. Did I say that right? Opportunistic environment. And so I think it's important when building a relationship to find out how you can add value to someone else before you expect them to add value to you. And that's what has allowed me to, have these long-standing relationships, even with some of my PR colleagues. We send each other clients, I might have a client that's not a good fit for me and I'll send it to her, and she'll send a client that's not a good fit, and we support each other. Or when I have events, some of my colleagues show up. When they have events, I show up for them. When they need a contact, we share contact. So I think to keep a relationship long, you have to add value to that person and not just ask. And that's helped me to do that, and also to understand that everyone is different and everyone behaves differently. So you have to have a certain amount of grace with people. I feel like sometimes people are so quick to not feel like they can work with someone because they're this way or that way. But for me, I just have a certain level of grace to know that everyone's different, and I have the patience to find out how we could work together best, and just keep that going versus focusing on our differences, if that makes sense.
And I can truly attest to that, guys, because when I first moved here, I hit the ground running. I emailed every major publicist or any major person who was within the industry and asking to volunteer. And I highlighted you in that video about how to break into the industry, because I met her through a friend of a friend. I believe his name is Leon. And I really do think you guys, it's so important to speak your dream and like put it out there in the atmosphere, because every time I met somebody, they'll be like, what made you move from sunny South Florida? Like, why are you here? And I'm like, well, I want to do X, Y, and Z. And I kept telling my story to the point where it hit the right person. And then I volunteered for her. Your work ethic has to be great and amazing, and I think that's something that you saw in me. And,
Absolutely.
And
I've never found another Sierra since. I'm still looking. If you are another Sierra, please contact me, because I've been looking.
But it's just like not only speaking your dream, but like backing it up with your work ethic and your professionalism, and then just being able to execute, and from there just volunteering your services, and you never know what will happen. I think young professionals, we want things to happen so fast, and we feel like, okay, we're straight out of college, we've done X, Y, and Z, but we don't have that experience. So yeah.
I totally agree, and you were extremely hard worker, extremely dedicated, attention to detail, just all of the things that a lot of the millennials are, lacking. Is that your generation? The millennials? Look, you gotta follow her, because a lot of people, like you said, they want to be me overnight, basically. And it's like, well, I started, 12 years ago, and you just got out of college, and I had to intern, and I had to work for free a little bit and learn. And so you're right, you have to be willing to put in the work for sure.
Right, and that's something that I constantly think about. It's just like, we always want to get to the end result, but we're not working through the process. And so how have you been able to maintain and address your mental health through the process?
Yeah, that is a great question. It sounds really, I guess, simple, but I'm very serious about my me time, because sometimes when you're a single woman and you don't have children, everyone wants to take up your time with their problems or their conversations or what they need. And I think it's important that you create your own me time, that sometimes you disconnect from social media, that sometimes you don't respond to that text right away, or don't respond to that email right away, or allow yourself a staycation, and then really beyond all of that, just having a really strong spiritual foundation. That is above everything. So I should have started there first. But having a very strong spiritual foundation is what allows me to maintain, good mental health, because you have to know that it's bigger than you, that the purpose, that life is just bigger than who you are. It's so much bigger. And I feel like if you have a really strong connection with God, then when when bad things happen, disappointments, sad days, all of that, you have a source to pull from that could feed from you, or feed into you. If that makes sense. And it's important to have a source, like outside of your mom, outside of your best friend, because what happens when they don't answer the phone? So you can't depend on people. You have to have a source. And for me, God, Jesus is my source for when I have those down moments, or moments of feeling depressed. Or I think, people feel scared to say the depressed word. And I feel like everyone experiences moments of depression. I don't care who you are, Beyonce, Oprah, whoever, everyone has those moments, and you just have to tap into your source, which for me is spirituality for sure.
And for you, you've been able to execute boundaries, and this is something I have witnessed before, guys. Literally sitting across from her, and like this client's manager is blowing her up, expecting her to literally put a gun to the media people's head. And one thing is for certain, you guys who are looking for PR strategists, it's a process, first of all, so I need y'all to calm down. But you've been able to execute like boundaries while also providing the client with their services, And so for the women who are scared to be like, hey, back up, like how have you been able to obtain that confidence?
Yeah, well, I know that I'm a very hard worker, and I have the receipts to prove it. And so it's like, for me, like you said, boundaries are so important. You can't allow people to run over you in business, in your personal life, in any facet of life. You have to stand up for yourself. You have to set boundaries. You have to set expectations. And that's one thing that I do with my clients. I set the expectation with them early on that public relations is a process, public relations take time, and that's in any facet of my business outside of PR. I think it's important to just set expectations with people so that they know what to expect from you in any industry, and then enforce those boundaries that you've set and that you've already informed them of, for sure.
And guess one last question. Where do you see the GLAMBITIOUS brand within the next 5 to 10 years? Because you know, with the whole spirituality process, it's just like write the vision and make it plain. I know you've done a lot of like vision board projects as well, but like where do you project GLAMBITIOUS and where do you project seeing Lillie Mae as a brand herself?
Yeah, you know, I would like to see Lillie Mae on TV somewhere. Someone give me a show. All this personality packed in here. I would like to see Lillie Mae on TV.
Yeah.
No, really, I think I see the GLAMBITIOUS movement expanding even more internationally. So like I said, we're planning an event in Paris, and I want to take this movement outside of the United States, because here in America, like you said, there's a lot of women empowerment, but in other countries, not at all. And so I want to go where it's needed even more, and I want the GLAMBITIOUS network to reach women around the world so that we can travel and host these events, you know, in Africa, in, you know, Europe, you know, wherever, where, you know, women may not have that women empowerment, you know, spirit of women empowerment like we have here in America. So I just wanted to just reach as many people as possible, and I'm going to keep creating books, keep creating events and opportunities for women so that it can continue to grow.
And one last thing, I know I said the last thing was last thing last time, but what advice would you give to the girl boss, the CEO, the female CEO who's out there just ripping and running and really trying to put herself out there, but needs to maintain those boundaries and set that self-care that way that she can be able to maintain her mental health while moving forward in the direction that God is calling her?
Yeah, I would definitely say to, you know, set up an empowering regimen for yourself on a daily basis. And what I mean by that is something that makes you tap into your spirituality every day. So that could be waking up with a prayer, that could be saying affirmations, that could be meditating at about noon, or meditating at 5 o'clock after you've had a long day. But when you put in like these empowering, you know, practices or routines in place, it keeps you on track, because every day you're going to go to the gym for at least 30 minutes. Every day you're going to have a conversation with God. Every day you're going to read a verse of the Bible, or whatever that means for you. If you make it a routine, I feel like it'll keep you grounded, it'll keep you mentally healthy, and it'll allow you to, you know, have the bandwidth to thrive even more.
Well, thank you so much, Lillie. Can you tell the people where they can find you?
Sure. So definitely, again, visit glamboss.org is our website. And on Instagram, you can follow at GLAMBITIOUSIAM. And you can also follow my personal page at I Am Lillie Mae. In addition, we have a public Facebook group where you can promote your business, and it's called Business Bell. So please join our Facebook group too.
Oh, thank you so much, Lillie. And definitely, I'll provide all her information in the description box below. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will definitely stay connected, or please stay connected via Legacy SPKS on everything. Until next time. What did I tell y'all? Wow, I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I actually enjoyed doing the interview. Major gems, major keys. So what did you guys think? Head over to the comment section below and drop your favorite quote and takeaway from this interview. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in to Legacy Speaks. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Definitely subscribe, and be sure to stay connected via Legacy SPKS on everything. Until next time.